Mike, we're just jumping right into this whole thing. Mike
Roll
Mooney
on.
over there. Say hello, Mike.
Rob, how are you, buddy? Great to see you.
Fantastic. Great to see you as well. This is Rob Thompson, a game plan you today, presented on sportsbizradio.com. So, Michael, I mean, you're probably one of the guys that I'm closest with in this business in the last 5 years, but yet you have not fallen under the web of the podcast from Uncle Rob over here.
I don't know how I've managed to either avoid it or slip through. I'm not sure which side of the fence I'm on with that, man.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Listen, what did I say? First time, long time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, long
exactly.
time.
Well, listen. I'm glad you've been following along all those years. So you've been prepping for this moment. So
I have.
You kind of know all the questions I typically ask anyway. So.
Well, yeah, but I know how you are. You're gonna change things up. You're gonna flip things around. So I didn't even like get in that headspace. I said, I'm just gonna get on here with my buddy. We're gonna catch up, talk a little bit about what's going on around us, what we're seeing, maybe sports, maybe sports tech, maybe just life stuff that's going on around us, man. It's crazy times right now. It's absolutely crazy.
So, Mike, talk about just bring up the folks that don't know, that may not know you, and I find that hard to believe. But
no.
So give us a summary of your experience. What got you here to this couch today with me?
Oh man! Besides therapeutic reasons, more so on the professional side. So I've spent the last 25 years in motorsports, ranging from NASCAR to IndyCar, drag racing, Formula One, mainly in the space of brand strategy, storytelling, helping brands figure out how to make sense of sponsorships, partnerships, activation, get the return on that investment they were looking for. So I've had the opportunity to do that for brands like Mercedes-Benz, Tylenol, Walmart, Lowe's, Sunoco, many just great organizations and even better people in those cases. And also along the way, I also found myself in the storytelling side of the business, of helping to craft the stories and work with the drivers or the athletes and the executives, which then led me into some of the crisis and reputation management work that I've got a passion for, always had a passion for that. Don't ask me why. That might be something for my therapist to answer. But I did that for 25 years, worked on the agency side, the brand side. And then the last run I had was with Roush Fenway Racing. So I was on the team property side as well. So I got to see the sport from a lot of different perspectives. I've seen it, again, 25 years. Rob, so much has changed within sports over those years. And man, my wife and I have 3 kids. They were starting to get older. I was traveling to 20 plus races a year. And I had written a book on reputation management and felt it was time for me to sort of, pivot and start my next chapter in my career, and do that based around this idea of empowering people to create more opportunities in their lives and their businesses through reputation. So that's where I am, man. That's what's going on my couch. Webs as well. Look at you. You're multimedia. Well, thank you, sir. So here we have a shot of my website. I look like I don't know if I'm a magician. What does it look like I'm doing, Rob? I have no idea. There you go. And click there for the sizzle video. Check out the work I'm doing. So I'm doing keynote speaking, doing that for a lot of different organizations right now, coming in to help their teams increase communication, trust, collaboration, build reputation as a foundational piece for their organizational strength, for leadership and leaders, as well as entrepreneurs and people like you and I, Rob, that are out there making it in this world and leveraging reputation. It truly is, a vital part of the world that we live in these days. You know that better than most, my friend. A little bit on the book. And the great part about the book, Rob, you're killing me here, man. I need you to be talking with me. But I'll tell you, with the book, if you do pick it up, if you get it from the website, I will sign it, personalize it to you. And the great thing about it is it's not just about reading page to page. At the end of each chapter, I give the readers an activity and a way and questions to reflect and think about, hey, how can I take what I just learned with this strategy and apply that to my own life or apply it to my team? I've actually had managers use it for their teams and do it like a group read for about 6 weeks. And it's been pretty popular on that as well. So
I left you there for a second. I'm sorry.
No, man. I'm just going, brother. Live events. You just got to keep it going. So
you got to keep it going. No, so let me talk about reputation shift a little bit more. Let me add on to it. Yeah. And it's strategically placed over your shoulder, but
what? Product placement? You kidding me? Stop.
I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But no, it's a great book, and I think it's a reflection of you and your personality and that intellectual second gear that you have, and really a philosophical look at the mindset of people within the industry. It's one thing, we talked about this, Mike, too, a lot. It's one thing to have get a job in the sports industry, but it's another thing to have a career in it. And that's a hard thing to do. And if you don't have that reputation piece of it, it's over. And I think this book speaks a lot to that.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And that's really, really kind of you. And thank you. I do appreciate those words. And I agree 100%, man. I really believe that, and I experienced it in my life, and I'm sure you could call back several experiences in your own where it was your reputation that opened up the door for an opportunity that you didn't even know was there. I mean, I'll give you an example for me, man, was when I was working at a sports marketing agency here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was laid out on the couch at home, had our third daughter. She was 4 days old. She's sleeping on my chest. My old Nokia cell phone rings, and I don't recognize the number, but I answer it, and it was the head of communications for Nextel, and the woman was kind enough to say, "Hey, Mike, we're looking for someone to run the marketing communications for the series sponsorship. We've been talking to people in the industry, and your name keeps coming up as someone that we need to talk to." And, that was just an amazing opportunity because I went on then to work for Nextel on the brand side for about 3 years, launching that sponsorship along with a lot of other great people on a team. But it was a $750 million 10-year run that the program had. And there was a lot, but that was all. I kind of tie it back to, I wasn't looking for it. And fortunately, people were kind enough to speak on my behalf. And I believe that has to do with how I treated people and how I worked with them and the reputation that I had worked to build, and I'm sure, Rob, you've had plenty of those experiences yourself.
I just think that sometimes when you get to a point in your career, you don't have to rely upon a resume anymore.
No.
It's your reputation and people are going to recommend you. I was very... there was it was my own kind of pride. Go ahead.
No, please go.
No, I was just saying that, there was a good track there when I didn't have a resume, probably 20 something years of not having a resume and just kind of going along with it. But now, now LinkedIn fills in for that. But so talk about these times. I mean, if you're out there trying to find a job right now, it's pretty tough. Yeah. And what kind of advice would you give to someone out there in the marketplace, especially in this industry that's completely shut down? What words of advice do you give to those people?
Yeah, man. So I would say a couple things on that front. First off, working on your brand, working on your reputation is key. If you haven't been, it's sort of like that old saying, when was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. So if you are in a spot where you're not sure what your brand stands for, who you are, what your voice is, what your value is, your reputation, this is the time when industries overall are slowing down. And I know there's a lot of anxiety. I know people are living with a lot of uncertainty right now, and it's natural. But I really believe this is the time that we can do two things: invest in ourselves first and foremost, and that's our emotional health and well-being, our physical, spiritual, relational. Find ways to start either building on your current rituals that you may have. Don't let this change in your day-to-day structure change the rituals that are helping you succeed and building you up from the inside, making you who you are. So I would say, invest in you inside, as well as in looking at your brand, to take this as an opportunity to freshen up your LinkedIn page. Look at this as an opportunity to maybe look at that resume. Are there positions or things that you'd want to investigate and look into that would help your resume or help your positioning right now, quite honestly? So there are some small tactical things that you can be doing. I think the other place, Rob, to be investing right now is in others. I'm a real big believer that in order to get, you give, and you've got to give generously and often and freely. And that can be as simple as checking in on others, even if you're not feeling it, even if you're scared out of your mind, even if you've just been given a pay cut, whatever it may be. Reach out to others, let them know that you're there. Do that to build that network, but also to strengthen the relationships that you have. I'd say that that's just vital. Check in on each other, man. I mean, we're in some pretty hairy times right now. So I think investing in yourself and investing in others are going to pay bigger dividends when we get through this storm, and we will get through the storm. We absolutely will.
What are you finding from the temperature in the businesses that are out there right now that maybe aren't shut down but are operating? What are some of the things that you are experiencing, hearing, seeing? That is right. So,
man.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
I heard a really interesting description of what's going on right now in the business sectors, and I was talking with a buddy of mine who's in the financial sector, and he said, man, right now we are looking at our industry as being in an induced coma. Right, think about that, and I sort of like unpacking that thought of an induced coma, which is basically, look, we're just going to keep things, settled and slow and alive, and not do anything that's going to be that could be harmful, as much as we think it could be helpful because of what's going on around us. And I really think, as I'm talking to other leaders in sports, in other, telecom and marketing, other industries, that everyone's really in this induced coma state of, we're just going to hang tight. We're just going to sit on the sidelines for a little bit, figure out how we can plug holes where we can. Now, listen, business owners are having a hell of a time because they're figuring out the operations and the financials. I'm not trying to minimize that, but I think a lot of people are if they had chips on the table, man, they're back. They're pulling them back in. Let's just see what's going to happen on the other side of this. How about you, man? What are you hearing from your people in the field?
It's the same thing. I think at the end of the day, when you have opportunity, like this, to shift your mind over to building your network, spending more time with people. I'm on a personal side with your families. Obviously, you're forced to a little bit now. Not that you need to be forced at all, of course. Let me just put that in there. Right. But from a business perspective, those out there who are building and in their growth mode, especially in the startup side of it, they're nervous, because 80% of the ones that I'm dealing with, or 100% of the ones I'm dealing with right now and trying to help are in the sports space. On the fundraising side of it, at the University of New Haven, it's really about checking in on people. It's on the alums. A lot of them have businesses. A lot of them have employees that are going through this time together. So it's about building relationships, solidifying those relationships, and making sure that people know that you're thinking about them and that we're all in this thing together. But we've been through this before, and I said this before on the podcast. We've been through 9/11. We've been through 2008, 2009. Some people go back even further to 2003, and then and then there's in the 80s.
Y2K.
Right, Y2K,
right,
and
oh my God, everything's
right.
I think you hit a really good point there, Rob, that I've been talking about lately, and it's the difference between opportunity in crisis and being opportunistic in crisis. And I really, and we're seeing examples of both of these now in social media and in the news, but I really think, to your point, where this really is a growth opportunity, but money isn't the currency right now in this growth opportunity. It is in the relationships, it is in yourself. And if people are, look, don't get me wrong, if people right now, and there are people who are still generating revenue, but doing it in a way today that's inspiring hope, right? That's spreading love, that's reimagining and reinventing their business and the solutions, and being more than ever a partner to the customer. Get the word customer out there, partners, right? If you're doing it that way, then by all means, keep doing it. We need that. We need that in the economy. But then we're seeing the other side of the coin, right? Where these people are hoarding Purell bottles and toilet paper and selling them on tables on the side of the road. That's more the opportunistic side of, you wonder, where the hell did their moral compass go? Like, how do people take advantage of others in times of need? So, I love what you said there, that, if you are building, keep building. Just, as scary as that is, keep building, but it's going to be in the relational side. And it may force you to have to give pause and rethink about your development, or rethink about the funding model, or rethink how your teams are coming together. I really think this is an opportunity, but it all comes down to mindset, right? And choices that we make and how we want to approach it.
You got time for a question? You ready?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, Greg Decker. So thank you, Greg, for this question. How would Mike recommend a 50-plus-year-old overcome the hidden prejudice impacting older employees with great experience? That's a good one.
No, it's a great one, and something that we hear a lot about, and people are facing. And look, I think there's one way is start your own deal. Go out there, and I'm not being flippant, but I'm just saying that there are options, because the point I'm hearing is, in the workplace, how do you overcome that? And that could be corporate agency, et cetera. And we're seeing a lot of that today, where it's a younger group of leaders, and they're oftentimes not recognizing the value of experience and what the gray hairs actually bring to the table. So again, the stigma on that's going to be tough to rub off, because I hate to say, but it is what it is. My recommendation is that you continue to show value. You continue to show the differentiation. You continue to build by planting seeds in those younger folks, that are out there. Oftentimes, as we get a little older, and I'm going to say our group, Rob, because we are in that range, kind of look down sometimes on the younger ones. They don't know what they're doing. But oftentimes, if we pour into them and continue to show value and nurture, we're planting seeds. And those seeds will pay dividends down the road. For right now, though, I continue on looking at value. I continue to push away from, conversations that's around age, but it's around experience and the value that you deliver.
I remember my dad used to work in our basement. He had an office set up there. He was a corporate guy for a very long time. And I remember when they switched over from just picking up the phone and calling people to the computer and to email. And that, to us, we were right in the middle of all that. Yeah. So I would say to anybody who's in their 50s and above, that's still out there hustling in the industry, if you don't know how to use LinkedIn properly like a pro, if you don't understand the fundamentals of social media and how that works, then you're going to lose. Then there's no excuse for that, because that happened during our era, right? We didn't, the fact that we didn't grow up at 12 years old trying to become an Instagram model has no way, but all of us want to be rock stars.
Working on that.
I'm still working on it.
I know.
But besides that, all of us wanted to be rock stars. All of us wanted to be some type of professional athlete, wanted to be something special, right? It's no different. It's how it's distributed right now. So
that's
for those 50, go ahead.
I was just saying, but that's a really good point, though, and I think they complement each other. That there's the mindset and approach of how you're going to get into that conversation or the value that you're going to show and the relationships you're going to build and mentoring at this age, and pouring in. But to your point, you're right. There is the other side of how you show up when you aren't there in person and what people will see and find and how they're going to then perceive your brand. People don't like that. Oh, I'm not a brand, I'm a person. Well, I'm sorry. No, today we're brands. We truly are. We're ambassadors of ourselves and what we represent. So you need to make sure that, the social proof, which is your LinkedIn, your Instagram, a website, backs up the in-person, the analog interactions people have with you.
I just think that there's no excuse now at this side, and I agree, Greg. There's definitely that piece of it when you come into an industry and you come into a job, especially in the sports industry. You are perceived to age out a little bit. Is a company going to invest in you, or are they going to invest in a 30-year-old? And it's really about an investment. But the one thing that we have going through us is we have life experiences. We have experiences raising children. We have experiences going through the ups and downs in life. And you have to be able to express that as part of, your value. But on the other side of that, now is such an amazing time to be able to use the tools that are available, like what we're doing here. This costs us nothing but our time, right? And we're going to be, we can reach out to people all over the world to give our message out. We couldn't do that. We could not do that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So I think the bad side or the downside of it is, yes, you are we're peaking, but we're also peaking with a ton of experience and a ton of relationships. Yeah. And there's tremendous value. And now we're able to monetize that through platforms like this, being consultants, being advisors, doing workshops and webinars, and creating value in our experience and value in our information and knowledge that we have. You could do that now more than ever before. So that side hustle, that little extra second job, you don't have to do things that maybe you don't really want to do. Leverage your relationships, leverage your experience and your knowledge, and leverage the gray beards. Just all going on the gray beards.
I wish I could grow one, man. I'm patchy. I'm jealous of that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but no,
it's Irish, man.
It's a great question.
You got the hair. You got the hair, man. You got that's a helmet up there. That's like a bike helmet you have.
it's something up there, man. I don't know. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep it as long as it'll have me.
Yeah, that's true.
Great question. So, now you got me all working on my hair. Good Lord, man.
I went on a Rob rant. I just went on a Rob rant right there. Charlie Provenzano, how you doing, buddy? So Charlie says old timers have had the ups and downs in life. They can guide you around, and it doesn't actually teach you what works. Where you failed. And you're right, Charlie. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Charlie Provenzano, by the way, has one of the greatest delis in New Haven, or it's actually in West Haven. And Charlie, God bless him, he's got one of the best sandwiches there. It's called the Broccoli Rob Thompson sandwich. So named after me. Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you, Charlie.
Come on. Is that right? With a name like Provenzano, it's going to be good.
And it's Broccoli Rob. It's chicken cutlets. Yeah, it's fantastic. So chicken cutlets, Broccoli Rob, provolone, and red peppers. And roasted red peppers, and don't judge me for this, honey mustard.
Honey mustard. Really?
It cuts the bitterness of the Broccoli Rob.
Yeah. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're way off the rails on this one.
No, man, that's the right stuff right now. Now you got me hungry. So,
Yeah.
you know, I did tell you, I do have wings smoking on the big green egg right now. So, you know, this is these are good times. You know, I got something waiting for me. It may not be the broccoli Rob, but I got some wings waiting in the wings.
When you, this is like dad joke hour now too, by the way.
I can't see who's just how many people are watching, but they're probably dropping after that last round.
They're with us, Mike. Don't worry about it. There's going to be many reruns of this. Mike, I'm going to cut you loose, but you're going to be a featured guest on our show. Mike and I go back many years that we met, ironically, on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of collaboration together. And Mike works with us on the Game Plan U as well, the platform, as one of the co-founders. And we've never met face to face yet. We've never met live.
No, it's a true story. It's a true story. But I'll share this, and for the folks who are watching, is, you know, when you're building relationships, my thought is, you know, don't go in with the expectation. Just go in with an open mind and an open heart, because Rob is one of those people that, to his point, despite we haven't been able to see each other in person physically, I remember as I was making my pivot and going through the transition, and Rob, you were in a similar place, that we were on the phone together, you know, and in those times, you know, lifting each other up, giving each other feedback, not knowing what was actually going to unfold and happen. And here we are several years later, we've been collaborating and building, and now I get to be on the Game Plan U Today show. I mean, that's a treat. But my point is, man, you know, I am grateful that our paths crossed on LinkedIn. I'm grateful that we've continued to nurture the relationship, because there were times on this journey where you lifted me up, and I know I've had the chance to repay that favor to you. And so, you know, you never underestimate where a message on LinkedIn or a phone call or whatever can go, because it could really help change the trajectory of where you're going, and be able to do it with just awesome people. So, man, thank you. And I'm looking forward to what's going to continue.
Well, you better believe it. And I wanted to highlight you on that part, because you said the most important thing there is you should be honored to be on the Game Plan U Today show.
I am. Yeah. You know, ish. You know,
yeah, exactly.
You know, we'll see.
Well, go work on. That's Mike Mooney over there. This is Rob Thompson over here. Go work on your smoked wings out there. I'll go have some broccoli Rob for you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Sounds good, brother. Cheers.